When the M5 G90 first debuted, it was met with nothing but constant hate. People were complaining about its looks, people were complaining about its engine and the fact that it's not purely combustion anymore. People were talking about its price. And finally, people were talking about its weight, which, let's be honest, is the elephant in the room, metaphorically and literally. See, but here's the thing with BMW this past, I would say half a decade, 5-6 years or so. Every time they release a car, whether it be the G series or whatever, it gets met with instant hate, and I'm talking about a bandwagon of hate, like the cars literally cannot catch a break. But the moment they go on sale, they instantly become the best-selling cars of that series. How? I genuinely don't know. Now, while I do think it's due to a bunch of factors, like, just in general, that people have been becoming richer, with crypto, with, all the various ways people make money, a lot of people can buy M5s nowadays, and it just so happens that the M5s being produced now are being bought a lot. But the M5 G90 to me is quite special because I genuinely didn't think that it was going to be this bad. And I'm talking about the bandwagon of hate that it received. Like, everywhere you went, there was nobody praising the M5 for what it was. I remember the moment the M5 G90 released, I think it was like the final straw for quote-unquote BMW fans to go to the head designer's Instagram, Domagoj Dukic, and just comment really negative things about him and his work. Funny thing is though, it proved everyone wrong. The G90 completely blew everything out of the water, and competition is basically zero. Mercedes isn't doing anything. Audi's releasing the RS6 and it doesn't really sell well because of, the various problems that it has. Right now, the only king of the hill is the M5 G90, which nobody expected to succeed. I'm gonna be talking about some of the reasons why. Also, excuse my voice, I'm really sick, so yeah. Anyways, let's get into the first thing, the most apparent thing, which is its looks. Now, there has been a lot of mixed reviews on this car's looks, but what I see in the general consensus is that this car in matte black looks infinitely better than it does in any other color. I don't know why. I think the black color just generally takes out the angles of the car more smoothly. Rather than it being green or yellow, it just kind of looks all up in your face. Now, honestly, when the M5 G90 released, I really liked its designs. I thought it was like a basic reincarnation of the E60, and that's what many people are calling it too. I mean, the headlights technically look the same. Like, the headlights of the E60 and the M5 look the same. The G90 just look a little bit more modern. It doesn't have a huge grille, which was a very popular complaint of other G series cars like the M3 or the M4. And in my opinion, it boasts a pretty face. I really don't mind it. It looks like the E60. When you get to the back though, this is when I start to see it getting more complicated. Now, a lot of people say it looks like a Camry from behind and that the backlights ruin everything, but in my opinion, I don't think this even is the worst part about the back design. Is the fact that there's this weird hypercar trying to be arch, like I don't even know what's going on there. Like, it's a diffuser, but it's not a diffuser. It's like, then why did you even add it in the first point? Like, I get, yes, it might improve aerodynamics by a little bit, but I swear, like, this has to be negligible. Like, no way. It doesn't ruin the design though. To be honest, like, the car looks really good from behind in certain colors. Like I said, black. I really don't mind it, and I think BMW has done crazier designs before. That's why I keep on saying, it is a reincarnation of the E60 because the bumper really is kind of a E60 copy. Everything about this car just screams E60. They want to reincarnate the E60. What I do really like about the design though is its overall shape, especially the side profile. The side profile of the M5 is genuinely really, really beautiful. I think it's one of the best designed side profiles, and please don't kill me for it. Now let's address the elephant in the room, like I said, metaphorically and literally, and that is its weight. This car was met with so much backlash and critic for being a heavy car. I mean, the car weighs 5,400 pounds. That's 2.4 metric tons. That is an absolutely insane increase. But to be quite honest, this isn't new for an M5. M5s have always been heavy. They've always been the executive car in which you can smoke a supercar in. Now, the reason I don't really get this complaint is that this also was a very popular complaint for the previous M5, which was the F90. It was also a very obvious complaint for the E39 M5. I mean, M5s, over the generations, they've just been getting heavier and heavier. It's not like something new that BMW's just doing. So I don't get why the fans are really surprised that, hey, with the EU and its regulations and when they add a hybrid system, that it isn't going to be 5,400 pounds. And you're not getting this weight for nothing. Now, here's the thing with BMW. They always lie about their performance numbers. And when the car was released, they said that the two engines, so the electrical and the combustion engine combined, would put out 717 horsepower. However, of course, as the car released, they've been dynoing it, and this thing is pushing out 820 horsepower brake. Now, we're talking pure power to the wheels, 820 horsepower. Now, given it is a pretty heavy car, but 820 horsepower is no slouch whatsoever. Combined with the fact that the car has an all-wheel drive, X-Drive system, I don't think any car can beat it. Like, in terms of its competitors, I've seen a bunch of races, and I'll even put up some clips right now. The RS6 can't beat it, the E63 can't beat it. And when it was put up against its competitors, but of higher trims, like for example the RS6 Performance, which is technically a competitor to the M5 Competition, or the E63S, the M5 base G90 still won over those two. So when we're talking about pure speed and engine power here, the car wins, absolutely. Like, the weight is not an issue when it comes to it. I mean, having a heavier car will mean that you will have a harder time controlling the car, especially on heavier turns. Now, keep in mind, I am not rich, okay? I am not a big YouTuber with hundreds of thousands of subscribers to afford a G90, but from what most reviewers are saying, they're saying that the weight is technically the same as the F90. Don't get me wrong, it's still heavy, you can still feel the weight, you can still feel the impact that the hybrid system had, but in general, it's not as bad and you won't notice it. That's what everybody's saying. And honestly, I feel like it's a good thing. Like, the only bad thing about this car, you could say negative thing, was its weight, and BMW managed to kind of minimize the losses it would have. And lo and behold, the numbers are saying that this might be the best-selling M5 G90 yet. And like I said, this is probably due to other external factors. And finally, I'm going to be talking about its price. Its price is, $140,000, $130,000, depending on the specs. It is expensive, but let's not forget, these things depreciate like crazy. Like, after 2-3 years, these things are going to go for 95K easy. And the thing is, with this M5 releasing, it just means that the people who wanted the F90 just can get it for much cheaper now. The price has dropped by like 10-15K for the new M5 F90, so if you want to buy one, go ahead. I still think they're great cars, they're not that old. And that was my 2 cents on the F9 G90. Overall, I like the car, I like what BMW did with it. Is it better than the F90 though? Now, that's a question that has a lot of debate on it, but in my opinion, it is not better than the F90. Simply because of one thing, and that is its design. I would have liked the car to be a little bit more reminiscent of the M5 E39, but then it would look too similar to the F90. Honestly, BMW did really need a change because the F10 and the F90 kind of looked very similar, and having a third generation look the same just hurts the company as a whole. So that's my 2 cents again on the M5 G90. Thank you guys for watching. Elixir out.